Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sophia. We're going to discuss true crime. Now the thing with true crime is there's lots of things that you might not be okay with. So if you're not okay with death, then scoot along. There will be limited violence because I don't want the details of anything like that in my head. So limited, but if you don't like it, scoot along. There are other things for you to watch on this app. There's a lot of things for you to watch on this app. You don't have to be here. Okay? Okay. Now, everybody in this story is considered innocent until convicted by a court somewhere. We are going to involve facts in our story. I'm going to speculate. I'm going to give you my opinion. And I may bring in some gossip. Gossip I usually get from TikTok. Now I'm going to make it clear when I'm bringing in gossip from TikTok, because gossip from TikTok is very scary, very rarely true, sometimes really out there, but sometimes it's fun. Sometimes a little gossip is fun. So anyway, today we're going to discuss Knezevich Henao. She is a 40-year-old woman from Fort Lauderdale. She was originally from Colombia, though. That comes important later. If I give you strange details, it's probably because that detail becomes important later. So hold that in your brain. Anyway, she's in the U.S. She marries David Knezevich. We're going to call him K because I don't like him. And his name is too long. I don't have time for that. So, he is a Serbian-American businessman. He owns a company called EOX Technologies. It does like IT crap, you know, computer stuff. And then, because they're rich people, they also own a lot of properties. And so, because, you know, that's what rich people do. They buy property when they have extra money just laying around that they could just pick up and be like, oh, I can go buy another house now. Anyway, in 2023, they started to go through a divorce because they're not getting along now, fighting. So they start their divorce process. She goes to Madrid, Spain in December of 2023 to stay, to kind of get away from everything. But she keeps in touch with all her family and friends. So she's, you know, she's still got her circle of people. And we're going to find out in this story that her circle of people are really freaking awesome. They do a lot for her. So anyway, she goes to Madrid. She's living in this beautiful apartment, nice neighborhood, having a good time, talking to her friends. All good. Then her friends receive a very strange message from her, saying that she recently met someone and she's going to go hang out with him for a few days outside of Madrid. And she might not have cell service, because that's not an odd thing to say at all. Like, it's not odd for a smart 40-year-old woman to be like, I just met this guy, and I'm gonna go hang out with him at an unknown location without cell service. So her friends were like, this is strange. She's not dumb. She would not do this. Also, another random detail. The message was sent to two different friends, one in English, one in Spanish. Again, she's from Colombia. She speaks Spanish. She also speaks English, so, you know, she could have sent both. It's possible. But that will come up again later. Details. Oh, where are we? So she stopped communicating with them. She just fell off the face of the earth. And they thought that was strange. They were messaging her. She was not responding. And that's not normal. She's their friend. She should respond. So they went to the police and said, hey, something's going on. So the police in Madrid sent some firefighters out to her apartment to do a welfare check, basically. They came in, they saw the apartment, they said, nothing strange is going on here. Her phone's gone, her purse is gone, but like everything else looks normal. There's no sign of like a struggle or anything like that. Like it all looks fine. So they leave. That was on February 4th. Now, on February 5th, she was supposed to be going on a trip to Barcelona with her friend. So the police said, if she doesn't show up for this trip, we'll do more investigation. Because obviously something's wrong if she doesn't show up for this trip with her friends, because that would be unlike her. So, February 5th, her friend goes to the train station where they were supposed to meet, and she doesn't show up. So the police agree to do more investigating. They tried to get a warrant for her house, but they were unable to do so. The judge said there just wasn't enough there. She is an adult. She has the right to go somewhere if she wants to and not tell people where she's going and not be in constant communication. That's her right. So apparently they need more evidence that something is actually wrong. On February 8th, her friends went to her apartment and started talking to some of the employees. They're like, hey, we haven't gotten a hold of her. We don't know what's going on with her. Do you know anything? Is anything happening? And they said, some guy came in here on February 2nd wearing a motorcycle helmet because it's normal. And he spray painted all the security cameras. Also, normal behavior, right? So they took that information to the police, and the police were able to get that camera information. Again, she has the best friends, because if they didn't go through this effort of going to talk to the apartment people, get this camera information, find out what happened, and then go back to the police, it would have been much longer before people knew she was missing, and it would have been much more difficult to get the evidence that they ended up getting. So the police look at this footage, and the last time that she was seen was at 2:20 on the afternoon of February 2nd. Now this is all happening in 2014 or 2024, not 2014, my bad. Because remember, she moved there in December of 2023. So this is February of 2024, so recent. So we have like technology to figure stuff out. So anyway, the last time she was seen was 2:20 on February 2nd. And they see on the camera that at 9:27 in the morning, a man wearing a helmet came into the building, spray painted the cameras, and then put tape on the little knobby part of the door that goes into the door jamb so that the door won't close. The little locky thing. I don't know what that's called. I'm not a door person. I just know that if you cover that with tape, then the door doesn't lock and you can go in and out without worrying about it locking. They also got the CCTV footage from the neighborhood because this is Europe. In Europe, they have CCTV footage everywhere. So they get the CCTV footage and they see the dude with the helmet hanging out around the apartment because that's normal. That's not going to stick out. Someone standing outside with a freaking motorcycle helmet on. Anyway. So, they're going through a divorce. Obviously, this is the first person we're going to look for because why not? Why would we not look for the guy who is trying not to give her half of his money? So they investigated his whereabouts. They found out that he was in Serbia. Europe isn't that big, so you can very easily travel from Serbia to Madrid. I live in the US, and here some places could be really far distances, and it would be unlikely that you traveled. Like if you live in California, but a murder was done in New York, I mean, we would look for like plane tickets, but other than that, it's not very likely that you drove from California to New York. And if you did, there would be a trail because it's far. I don't even know how long it would take. I just know it would be far. It's a long drive, a long trip. Anyway, I digress. Back to the story. So they found him. He didn't really want help with the investigation. He didn't want to be interviewed. He didn't want to take a lie detector test. He just was like, yep, sucks that she's gone. Too bad. He didn't actually say that. I'm just making that up. So don't take that as like fact, because it's not. He didn't say that. Anyway, in mid-February, the police in Colombia were contacted by a woman who was speaking with Kay on WhatsApp. Now, they had met on a dating app, and they had been talking back and forth since October of 2023. And they were still communicating with each other. She told her mother that she was talking to this man on WhatsApp, and we've been talking. It's going good. And she probably told him he's got a lot of money, and that would be great if this turned into something. Because everybody wants that rich boy. Anyway, her mother Googled him because her mom's smart and found out that his wife was missing. She didn't even know he had a wife. And then he had asked her on February 3rd to translate some messages into Colombian. And he had specifically asked her to message it into more of like a neighborhood Colombian, like how the normal people would speak it. So like if you had just taken the message and put it into Google Translate, you would get like the formal version. He wanted the not formal version so that it would seem more realistic. This is why he asked her instead of just using Google Translate, which you could easily use. It's on everybody's phone these days. But anyway, that's why he did that. It was a boo-boo. So she looked into the messages that the friend had received from Anna when she went missing, because they were posted on the internet, of course. And those were the messages that he had asked her to translate. So she called the cops in Colombia. She's like, hey, this dude had me translate these messages. His wife sent these messages to her friends. Now she's missing. And so that got the Colombian police involved in this investigation as well. Because those were the messages that her friends had received on February 3rd that didn't make any sense. Those were messages sent from her. So she had never met some man and gone off to visit him for a few days without phone service. That never happened because, again, she's not stupid. Or young. I mean, sometimes you do things like that when you're really young because you don't know better yet. You're just like, ooh, I met a new guy and he's cute and our hormones are just racing. And then, yeah, you might go off with him, but she didn't do that because she's, an adult. Now, there are 3 different agencies who are looking into this disappearance. There is the FBI, because she's from the U.S., the Spanish police, because that's where she was when she went missing, and the Colombian police, because that's where that person was from who translated the messages. So they start to track his movements, because where the hell was he? On January 27th, he traveled from Miami to Istanbul, Turkey. And then, somehow, he traveled from there to Serbia. Probably in a car, I'm guessing. He went to Belgrade, Serbia. So on January 29th, he rented a Peugeot 308, and he didn't return it until March 15th. Now, it looks like when he was in Serbia, he stole a license plate that he then changed out onto his Peugeot that he rented, because the license plate was stolen, reported stolen in Serbia, and it showed up in toll booths in Spain. Because, you know, technology, we got that these days. It's a wonderful thing. So anyway, so around the time of the disappearance, a resident in Madrid also said that their license plates were stolen. And those license plates showed up on the Peugeot as it was going through toll booths. And there were some license plate readers on the street where the victim lived, and they also had those license plates going through there as well. So on the night of February 2nd, going into February 3rd, those license plates, when they were going through the toll booth, were connected to a Peugeot 308 with tinted windows. Now, the car he rented didn't have tinted windows. Another detail. Put that up there. On March 4th, a woman claiming to be Anna called an insurance carrier to cancel 3 policies for vehicles that were used for the business. In the background, they could hear a bunch of children talking, which Anna doesn't have any kids. Also, on April 24th, one of Kay's employees told the police that he had wanted her to impersonate Anna and open a bank account. She told him she was uncomfortable doing that, and he said that it had to be done or else their employees wouldn't get paid. Which, of course, doesn't make any sense, because how was the employees getting paid up to this point? Huh? Where was that money come from? You already have a bank account. Basically, I think, opinion, speculation, he was just trying to create a trail to make it seem like she was still alive, even though she wasn't. So, that's what all this was. Just trying to make it seem like she was alive. On March 15th, he returned the rental car. And lo and behold, the windows were now tinted. He had gotten the windows tinted on the rental car. Stupid. They also noticed that there were a couple of, like, little stickers that were in the window that had been removed. Also, the license plate frame had been changed. And he put 7,677 kilometers on the car. And just in case you're wondering, to go from Belgrade, Serbia to Madrid, Spain is about 2,592 kilometers. It would take about 26 hours. They also found some cell phone data that places him in Madrid. So he was probably there. Yeah. Technology. It's hard to get away with murder these days, especially if you have a cell phone. Or you go through toll booths. Or you're in a country like Europe that has a lot of CCTV and license plate readers. Just a thing. He was arrested May 4th and charged for kidnapping because they haven't found her body yet. So they can't charge him with murder yet because they don't know where she is. But when he came back to Miami, that's when he was charged and arrested. And so he's been sitting in a Miami jail ever since because he pled not guilty and they denied his bond. They denied his bond, obviously, because he's rich and he is from Serbia. He's not originally from here, so he has, a place to go. But also, he had, did a lot of shenanigans with that real estate that they had. He had sold 6 different properties to the same buyer, a month before she disappeared. And altogether, that was about $6 million worth of property that he sold to the same person. So anyway, he has a lot of money, and they wanted to make sure he didn't scurry off because, that's what people like to do. So they're still looking for her body. Just the end of August, they had used some data from the rental car, because the rental car company is cooperating, and they had GPS on their vehicle. And so they are using data from that rental car where they saw that he had veered off from the highway and gone to this wooded area in northern Italy. So now the Italian police are cooperating. And so they went and they searched this wooded area for her. They did not find her, but they had said that they would go back and try again. So they're still looking for her, hoping to find her, you know, because there's no closure. I don't know. Whatever. But it still would make you feel better to know where the body is, you know? You could bury it, have a little grave to go visit, and not think that your loved one is like some random place. Maybe in like a gross setting, you know, like out in the middle of the woods with some like leaves and crap. Like, it's nice to know that they're in a place with a gravestone. You could go visit it. It's good to know where they are. Anyway, that's it for today. There's, of course, going to be updates because they're still looking for her. This just happened in February, so hopefully they'll find her. And he still sits in jail, although his lawyer is trying to get him out on bond because, you know, that's what defense attorneys do. They try to get them out. They had originally set a court date for August, but of course that got pushed. I don't know why. Couldn't find any information on that, but it did get pushed, so we'll see when it goes to trial. But in the meantime, they're collecting more and more evidence, and hopefully they'll find her, because that would be nice for the family. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll give you some updates later. Have a good day.